Bucket line.
Bucket line. So definitely the steel element, digging it. And the water is pretty silky, yeah, I get it. I appreciate the rich reds and the spring greens. That's a nice complementary combination. And what else do we have going on here? Yes, it's a nice warm, cool dynamic. That's always great. And keep in mind, warm colors come forward, cool colors recede. So it actually frames it very nicely. And a couple thoughts. And I know you all might have predicted I'd be like, nerp, maybe just go ahead and clone those out. Or I recently learned the patch tool. That's also great. In here, it's underexposed, which gives us a loss of detail. And if you were going to print that, you probably wouldn't see it. And that's not ideal, obviously. For composition, I'm giving it a 2 because I am interested to know what it would have looked like, more like so, or it just feels a little constrained to me. Though I think it's sort of a 4x5 or 8x10 aspect. So I like where the photographer is going with that in terms of trying to introduce a different crop. However, it feels really confined to me. I'd like to see more of it, and I'd like to see more of the detail. So composition is a 2, impact is a 2, and technical is a 3, and the score is 7.
I need that on. Bucket line from Don Burnell, total of 7 points.
Thank you for sharing, Don.
Circle the wagons.
Circle the wagons. So this has a very pleasant, still yesteryear feel, and I really enjoy the color. That looks light blue to me. It really pops out, and we've got this nice rusty texture going on in there, and this kind of sun bleached paint. It's really charming, and then the bend of the grass reminds me of wind, so I'm thinking motion, yet it's all standing still. And furthermore, the juxtaposition of this rather ancient contraption with greenery growing all around it has a sort of narrative about the cycle of life, old, new, birth, death, which we're always working in archetypes. Whenever we're taking a photo, we're always kind of projecting that in my understanding of photography. And so I appreciated that very much. Some considerations for future images. The edges looked a little soft to me, right in there. Maybe it's just my glasses, but it looks like it could have been at 1/60th of a second, or 1/160th instead of like 1/250th, which freezes motion, something I've learned the hard way. Mm-hmm. I feel like the composition could have really been pushed, that what the photographer wanted to showcase or the motive for taking the photo isn't apparent due to the distance and inclusion of some of the other elements. I guess I'm curious what would have happened if had come in a little bit more and gotten closer and gotten more of those details. I would just personally like to see less. I don't know, maybe that's my own ethic right now, getting in close, getting in personal with the subject. I'm just curious what that could have looked like from different angles. I feel like, yeah, we see the wheel, we see the back of the wagon. I want to know more about it than what I could just kind of see from where I am, just working with some more angles. And that was the whole deal. Robert Capa, get closer. I like where the photographer is going in terms of mood and color, but I feel like they could push it to another level with composition. So for composition, I gave a 3, impact a 2, and technical a 3 for a total of 8.
Circle the Wagons by Cindy Macion, total of 8 points. Did I get that right again?
Yes, you did.
Did I?
Thank you for sharing, Cindy.
Cross your T and dot your tie.
Aww. Do you have that clever glow? Yeah. That was from a comedian who's actually funny. So this is fun. Like this is very fun, and it definitely interprets the steel and silk very literally and creatively, which was our whole talk. Bravo. The textures look perfect to me. I appreciate, because we've got that crisp focus. What am I? Not shallow depth of field. Yeah. No. Sorry, I'm messing up my brain. The textures look perfect. The photographer has some studio experience, clearly. And it's challenging to get a reflective subject like that, not have a lot of extraneous factors, and it's hard to, have the metal surface look so congruous and clean. And believe it or not, it can take hours to style a little tiny set. So for the effort a person took to do that and photograph something shiny and get the texture in the tie and take the time to create the shape and the movement, and I really appreciate how that moves right into there. The eye really keeps moving, yes. However, I am picky and I have more to say. And make sure I didn't miss anything. So some considerations is the tag is visible. I'd say I'd rather not see it. I want my eye to move like a little roller coaster around here, because I find this very engaging for some reason. But the tag kind of stops it for me, like, oh, what's that? And I would like to see less of that light flaring. To my knowledge, that's due to overexposure, like coming around the back, I'm guessing, coming from that direction. So a little, what is it, gobo? A little block the light, little black card there maybe to absorb it or block it out. And I feel like I can see a person. Is that a person? Maybe a person? Anyway, it looks like it to me, and that looks like the seamless paper upon which the subject is placed. That's not ideal, I think, in this type of photography. So it's a little flatly lit to me. I guess I'd like to see a little more contrast while addressing this right there. Yeah, so a lot of strengths and an overall good job, but some modifications could make it stronger. So I gave composition a 3, impact a 3, and technical a 3 for a score of 9.
Cross your T and dot your tie, decloyed 9 points, and I did almost remove the tag.
Thank you for sharing, Deke.
And that's not a person in the reflection.
Okay, good to know.
Curiously smooth.
Well played on getting colorful icicles. Yes. Does this remind anyone of Edward Scissorhands?
Yeah.
Just, yeah. I mean, just a little Tim Burton with those icicles. It's got a mood to it, that's for sure. A little much red, maybe. Wow, that wasn't planned. I appreciate the unique take on the icicles, and I think it's really neat that the photographer is finding different types of light. Like this shows some curiosity. This shows some persistence of vision, and that's so important to have in a creative process. And steel and silk kind of works, I would say, because you've got the steel-like texture and hardness of the ice, and then the liquid, well, it's liquid, steel and silk. It's a stretch, but I think I get it. And some considerations are this would be challenging to get a quality print, and I think a lot of us with our images, we do want them printed eventually, like whether we're doing them for a client or for ourselves or for a friend or whatever, we want to take that into consideration. I was able to see some detail back here. I think some trees with snow. And I thought I saw a little bit of texture on a roof when I was looking at it before. So my recommendation is pop it on a tripod, expose for the background to get some details, expose for this right here because you like that, and expose for the, what do we call that, soffit, and then mask them all together, which is a thing we're gonna be learning here. So for that one, I did composition 2 because I have no other information. I have no other information to work with. So I have no frame of reference in which to stick the icicles. And impact was a 3. And technical was a 3 for a score of 8.
Curiously Smooth by Alicia Perrier, total of 8 points.
Thank you for sharing, Alicia.
Feathers of Silk.
Oh, don't we all just wish that was outside right now? Yeah. This looks like a painting to me, and I really do. I would love to go outside right now and be like, "Hello, bird," with your berries and your happiness, instead of 6 inches of snow. And it's really kind of vibrant. The bird it's this nice muted kind of peach color. It's gorgeous. It melds really well with the framing of the dark foliage and the berries. It's really enchanting. And I've tried photographing birds recently. Bravo, getting that bird there framed that way. It's a real bird, right? Don't answer yet. I don't know who you are, but like that's incredible. However, it looks like it may have been softened in post-production. If that's intentional, I understand because it looks a little bit like a painting. However, since it's not sharp, that's typically not what we're going for in the main subject. I mean, we have some sharpness, some crispness here, so it's just a little complicated. And that feather is just cut out down there. I would like to see maybe some blue sky or additional, I don't know, something back in there. I'm kind of a stickler for blown out highlights. So, pardon me. Yeah, no element of steel, but it is silky. So I guess next time I wonder what someone could do to incorporate steel into something like this.
A gun barrel?
No, Dean, no. Wrong kind. This is not the kind of shooting we do here. That's at your NRA club or whatever. Yeah, different group. Wrong meeting.
That's down the hall.
Oh, snap. Okay, so for Feathers of Silk, I gave composition a 4, impact 3, and technical a 2 for a total of 9.
Feathers of Silk by David Jensen, total of 9 points.
Thank you for sharing, David.
Forge of the Gods.
I just want to say, oh, or like whatever action movies are out right now. This just feels like that moment, Leonidas is attacking or defending rather. I just hear epic theme music. It is steely gray, and the clouds are silky, so I'm digging it. Silk and steel, I can vibe on that. Well played. I absolutely adore this shape it's making. It's like a diminishing perspective, and it really pulls you onward, like you're really getting drawn in, like you're at the bow of a boat and you're going forward. And is that a little boat out there? What is that? Is that a thing on the screen?
It's a boat.
It's a touchscreen.
It's a periscope.
tricking me, you guys. It's so tricky around here. So, I love that. It's my favorite color combination, gold and gray, and it really works compositionally with the perspective. And that horizon line is, I'd say, pretty straight. Let's compare. Yep, pretty darn straight. So I had a couple considerations. Maybe a little more work on the color. I felt like tiny bit oversaturated maybe, but that's a matter of preference. And I'm not. I'd like to know if this is real or if this was a mirrored image. Those clouds are so fantastic. I'm kind of flabbergasted. The water looks a little over sharpened to me, a little crisp, a little too crisp. Maybe a matter of preference. However, Forge of the Gods, composition got a 5, impact a 4, and technical a 4 for a score of 13.
Forge of the Gods by Patty Hoy, total of 13 points.
Thank you for sharing, Patty. Thank you for sharing.
Hard rock in a soft place.
Wow. Whose is that? Lucky girl. Bill. So I look at this and I'm like, this is really well composed. It's gorgeous. And I recently attempted to photograph a diamond ring. You don't just, it doesn't work that way. So this took some skill and proficiency and some planning and augmentation clearly, and it has a feeling that there's a sunset. It looks like it's in natural light, that you just set it there, and the sun happened to fall on it to make that beautiful shadow. I'm guessing that took some skill and augmentation and planning. Or maybe just an on-camera flash, somebody knows what they're doing. Hey. Anyway, it's wonderful. So I appreciate that the ring was properly exposed and you could see the texture of the band. It was well conceived, composed, and executed. Now, I found this for a lot of photos I was critiquing, and I just would always come in closer. Maybe it's just me, but I would just like to be, I would recompose it. I would go up close, and I know it's the focal point, but I would make it more of the focal point somehow. Now, I don't know how I would do that, honestly, because it's a matter of preference. And it's well composed. The lines they're great. They don't particularly appeal to me. And I actually didn't see the ring at first. I kind of couldn't tell what I was looking at. But I see the merits of the image, I get it, and it's really well done. But again, I'd just come in closer. So composition is a 4, impact is a 4, and technical is a 5 for a score of 13.
Hard rock in a soft place, Alicia Perrier, 13 points.
Thanks for sharing.
Lines of distinction.
I definitely get the silky feeling. I kind of get the steel feeling too because of the surface, and it's a little visually confusing to me in a good way because it's just kind of like an impressionistic kind of composition and painting, and this appears to be clouds. Thinking that's clouds, so I'm thinking it's water or it's ice. I still don't know. That's awesome. I like being confused. It helps somehow. And so it definitely works. I find the lines of movement engaging. It draws me in. I can't tell what the scale of the image is. And that's actually nice, not having a subject handed to you sometimes. Sometimes it's good to work in scale and then keep the viewer guessing. Because this one I was looking at it for a long time, because the first thing we want to do when we're looking at an image is describe it when we're judging it. So that was tough for me, and I really appreciate it. I love the blue, and I love the interpretation of the topic. There is some loss of crispness in detail around the edges. I'm guessing that I was in favor to get these in focus, but I don't know. There was some kind of distortion or sharpness or something I couldn't visually reconcile. So for that one, Lines of Distinction, I gave composition a 4, impact a 4, and technical a 3 for a score of 11.
Lines of Distinction by Cindy Macion, total of 11 points.
Nice. Thank you for sharing, Cindy.
By the way, this one was sharp, sent in too small, and therefore when it went into 1080, it made it unsharp.
Oh, shucks. Well, I'd love to see the other one.
One sharp tie.
One sharp tie. It is one sharp tie. Well, not for long. So I see this as a narrative piece on like a man who is a little fed up with not life, okay, but with work. So he's like, no more tie. I'm out. I'm gonna go take photos. So that was what I read out of that. Very literal interpretation of the steel and silk. Way to get outside the comfort zone, do something different. Very cool. And I think that was the purpose of this photo challenge, was to take those things, process, combine, figure it out, and this really does that. I like the shape the objects make. Does a good job of moving the eye. Derp, 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 derp. That's the sound you have to make when you're looking at a photo, when you're moving the eye. Derp, 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 derp. Just kidding. You don't have to, but you have to listen to me do it right now. So I appreciate how the blade and the front of the tie are in focus, because you've got the really nice textures, and you don't have any blown out highlights like you can often see when photographing shiny surfaces in a studio setting. You can just blow those highlights right out if you don't know what you're doing and using a scrim or a flat. And yeah, the position of the blade makes me think he is ready to cut ties. Thanks. The workforce. But some considerations. This looks a little flatly lit to me, just kind of lacking dimension, like doing something with maybe a scrape light to get a long shadow going, or a little more sculpting, or darkness on the background. So subject to background distancing, giving that dimension. I can't remember the word I'm trying to say. So that, and I feel like the background should be whiter if this is the kind of commercial feel that you're trying to get, the white with just the right amount of detail. So that'd be a 235 on the RT. So for one sharp tie, I gave composition a 3, impact a 3, and technical a 4 for a score of 10.
One sharp tie, Decloyd, 10 points.
Thank you for sharing, Deke.
Rusty Relic.
Yeah. Now that's pretty. That's nice. I like that. Who just doesn't love that combination of this rich red and then that kind of offset muted green? It's at the same time so vibrant yet so kind of stationary. It's a rusty relic, but it looks like it has this newness to it still. Apparently they don't make them like they used to. And it has the steel aspect. I wonder what the photographer could have done with this photo, introducing silk of some kind, whether it could be like silky hair of a beautiful maiden, or just saying. They're around.
See them everywhere.
They're everywhere. Yeah. They like being photographed. I don't know. That would I'm curious to see what could have happened there. It's a nice photo. And I kind of just want to know what the photographer could have done to push it for the category, in introducing silk in an unexpected way. And it looks like there's a little chromatic aberration. Do you all know what chromatic aberration is? Who's familiar with chromatic aberration? Okay, cool. So it's a little bit of fringing of color that happens. So like purples and greens, and I hope I'm explaining it generally and adequately enough. But basically it's light comes in. Somebody else is going to have to explain it. All I know is I go into Camera Raw, I press the chromatic aberration button and defringe it so that I don't have the outlining purples and greens. So that's just a really overlooked step that I overlooked for 4 years of my digital photography life. I've been there 5. So don't do it anymore, but now I always notice it, and it just helps because there's like a little flare off of purple or flare off of green around the edges, and just one little click eliminates that. So, and then I feel like the composition was supposed to be totally uniform, but it's just a little bit off. Sorry. Oh, furthermore, this would have really jumped out with some augmentation. So with like a couple umbrellas or even painting with light on a tripod, really bring, oh shucks, come on friend. Okay, really bring that out underneath. The colors would have, I feel, would have really added. It could have framed it a little bit more, brought it in if we could see those vibrant greens and rusty reds. So for Rusty Relic, I gave composition a 4, impact a 3, and technical a 3 for a total of 10.
Rusty Relic, Dave Jensen, 10 points.
Thanks for sharing, Dave.
Scarves of Silk.
We have silk, not so much the steel. It has a great deal of pattern and color, and I'm guessing this photographer is into other types of art as well, given the subject and location. So yeah, definitely got the silk in there, and worked with, like, this almost flows together. I wonder what could have been done differently with arranging them, or playing with more exact combinations, or honestly, my ethic, just what I do, I just come in closer. Just get closer, get intimate with those textures, with these things right here, throw them around or make them really linear, stagger them slightly like they are. Just come in closer and really explore them, because with too much information, it kind of tends to look like a snapshot rather than an intentional image, and it takes away from the impact. So it really could have been improved with lower ISO, because I think I see some noisiness, and tripod, and even a little augmentation, a little behind the camera umbrella light, or even on the camera flash. So yeah, I feel like the color fidelity could have been improved at a lower ISO with augmentation and recomposing. So this one I gave a composition 2, impact a 2, and technical a 2.
Scarves of Silk,
6.
Don Burnell, total of 6 points.
Thank you for sharing, Dawn.
Silk Foliage.
Yes, we have silk. We do. Silk foliage. It has wonderful movement and color. Missing the steel. I'm just curious, like what could we have done to do some steel, silk and steel? Because there could be some really interesting juxtapositions or commentary on nature. I don't know. I'm not gonna get all hippie on you. So some considerations, and like I've said, almost every single one, just getting closer. I messed with this a little bit. I looked at different compositions, and I was like, what if we just came in here? Or what if we just, I looked at a bunch of different crops. We have so many wonderful shapes, and I adore them. It's almost too much to look at all at once, because pretty sensitive to the beautiful leaves this person is showing me, and it's just a little overwhelming. So For silk foliage, I gave composition a 3, impact a 3, and I gave technical a 3 because there was some chromatic aberration and it did look soft to me, but yeah.
Silk Foliage by Lori Carlton Smith, total of 9 points.
Thank you for sharing that.
Special Coffee.
Oh. So whoever made this, can I please have one after? Okay. Yeah, we definitely have the silk and steel, and well played with the little chocolate chip. I feel like this person may have done some product work in the past, or really likes coffee. Where's my little spot? Yeah, it has the silky foam and the brushed steel. Definitely meets the criteria. I feel this would have been stronger without the colors in the steel. And again, I'm not a product photographer. To my knowledge, though, it works best just to have the continuity of the tone. So like this right here and this going all throughout. Maybe that's part of the narrative, and we want the feeling that we're at a Starbucks and there's people walking around. For me, it was just a little distracting. So special coffee. Oh, and the composition. Yeah. I guess I would have liked to not. I just struggled with it. I guess I would have liked to have seen either not that and just bring it up so we have this as the full background, or more of that and more of the cup. I don't know. I struggled with the composition. Or do this like that and make it a big wall panel behind your like coffee table. Not table, the place where you drink coffee. The coffee table. So I gave special coffee 4 for composition, impact 4, and technical 4 for a total of 12.
Special Coffee by John Gasly, total of 12 points.
Thank you for sharing, John.
The Cave and the Treasure.
Who doesn't love this? I mean, this is really beautiful. Yeah, that's just nice to look at. We're hard pressed to find a well done HDR sometimes, or find an HDR that doesn't look like an HDR. This is very successful to me. I'm guessing the solar flare was intentional, so for me it works. I'm on board with it. This movement is just, bless you, nothing short of magical. It's silky. Missing the steel element. I mean, this makes me want to go hiking and find this and photograph myself in it. Like, I need to do that. And it's really well done compositionally. I mean, the eye keeps moving, and it looks like a Chihuly glass. Actually, it reminds me of that Chihuly blown glass, like the one at Gonzaga. So for this one, did I have? Oh yes, but I had a nitpick. These little specks. We could just clone those little specks out. Just maybe do that. For print, because that'll look really nice. So composition 5, impact a 5, and technical a 4 for a score of 14.
The Cave and the Treasure by Danette Taylor, 14 points.
Thank you for that.
The Eye and the Mirror.
Well, that's gorgeous. I mean, it's still. It's so still and so quiet. The best of what winter has to offer is the total silence and the snow outside when it smells so good. I like the way this photographer looks for interesting subjects. I mean, a lot of people could just photograph one or the other, or you could try to get that, but not get just the right angle, which has really happened here. So, yeah, and it's perfect for a black and white image. I feel like, I'm pretty sure that there was some detail lost in the snow. And though I can see some little sticks, and I think I might actually clone those out. if possible. But if someone, doesn't like to change the environment and is into straight photography, then that's understandable. So yeah, I'd say just a little bit of loss in the highlight details, and just in camera raw or in curves, bring those down just a bit to get a nice range, 5-stop range of detail. So the eye in the mirror, composition 4, impact a 3, and technical a 2 for a score of 9.
The eye in the mirror, Danette Taylor, total of 9 points.
Thank you, Danette. It's beautiful.
Thin air,
Oh my gosh. Yeah. How does one get there to do that? It's too cool.
acid.
Are you holding? Okay. But how do you get the photo if you're on That's amazing. Whoever.
With your mind.
I'm just telling you, I've seen that.
Okay, thank you. That helps. It doesn't help me because I can't do that. But fine. So the strengths are it's gorgeous, and I get steel and silk from it because of the steely gray and the silky clouds. I mean, just want to it's a dreamscape. Actually, it's like the dreamscape transition when you're in the middle of something and then it goes to something a little darker. Anyhow, it is beautiful. And I would just recompose it. Maybe I think I understand why this part of the sky was included, because that nice tonal differentiation between these light clouds and then this is getting a little darker added some depth. However, I really feel like this would be such a powerful panorama, like massive above a couch or in an office. Like it's really, really stunning. So I would recompose it for sure, and it would be a powerful panel. So for thin air, I gave composition a 3, impact a 4, and technical a 4 due to, again, a little, I felt like it would print with absolutely no detail at all, which would be a shame because it would be beautiful in print. So that's a score of 11.
Thin air by Patty Hoy, total of 11 points.
Thank you, Patty.
White fudge on polished steel.
Oh, buddy. Okay. Just every time I see this photo, I'm just like, oh, girl's got to get her fudge on. Yikes. So this one definitely meets the criteria, and in fact, I feel it best expresses the silk and steel out of all of the images, and that's, it's really a gorgeous photo, and delicious. I don't know how it's delicious because I can't taste it, but I feel like I can, and whoever this is, I need you in my life. So, we've got a lot of beautiful things going on here. Gorgeous texture, and it's flaking off. We're like on what is it? Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and they're like, oh, food. We're right down there with it. I love it. It's close up, and the composition right in here, getting that edge just so, really moves around, and it's well lit. We've got all of our details in here. We don't have anything overdone or underdone. It's not flatly lit. It has some dimension and quality and tonal range. And, I had given it a 14, but I changed my mind because I actually like the composition better. So this gets 5 for composition, 5 for impact, and 5 for technical, because I was thinking before, just come in here or just show me this, but then I'm like, more fudge is better than less. So this one gets 15.
White fudge on a polished steel by John Gasly, total of 15 points.
Thank you, Dawn.